White blood cells.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, just on your point there, Jonathan. The only reason I bought my PS5, I wanted to play Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually fair. But I like I said, fortunately, one swallow doesn't make a summer. And that's you need to have more. Like when the PS2 launched, like you had launch titles. You
Yeah.
had the games ready to go. And it is just because games are trying to follow the same cycles, but games are taking far longer to make nowadays than they would have hoped. It's not like the case of the PS1 where like you could spit out a fucking racing game in a couple of months. Like these projects take a substantial amount of time and a substantial amount of money. So instead of inflating the balloon with something like GTA 6, which will have the biggest budget in human history, what you need to do is actually deflate the market. Kind of way you need to actually have like you need to go back to being a quantity over quality model rather than doing like trying to make the best game ever, which it's just not going to live up to expectation. It physically can't live up to the hype.
I remember that being the case with the 3DS. It first launched, and
Mm,
there was nothing good for it except for Zelda and a Mario game.
yeah,
And no, they Nintendo are fantastic at selling you back your childhood
yes, they are.
at higher prices. But that is, I think, what floated them until they got good games out on the 3DS.
Mm.
Just
I,
like
I
the
think I
PS1.
think really with the 3DS one, you could argue that like just the 3DS itself was a particularly awkward piece of kit because of the 3D aspect of it. Like when they probably got all these designers got the dev kits at the same time, they went, okay, how the fuck do we make this work? How do we
Yeah,
get the and again if you're not in the lodge as it were with the likes of the in-house Nintendo games, you don't really have a chance. Like
yeah,
you're pretty much just making a new DS game and just like kind of foregoing the 3D version, which is basically what happened in the end. Once the 2DS came out, everyone, oh thank fuck, we don't have to do anything 3D. Like I think in the end, like, I'm thinking of the Ace Attorney series on this one because the Ace Attorney became like a DS sweetheart, predominantly because like okay on the Game Boy the game didn't really make that much sense. But it was a very Japanese game, very much a public transport game. You play a couple of like pay half an hour, 40 minutes here and there, get your regular
yes.
plot recaps and go from there. Whereas on the DS, it became okay. This is actually a perfect, perfect game for this. It's actually stumbled upon its great success. You know, um, but even then, like that. So in theory, you think Ace Attorney would jump at the chance of an upgraded DS system for its game because now you can throw in crime scene version investigations. You can throw in various different gameplay mechanics and gimmicks, which
Hmm.
is what they did in the end. But they didn't wait for they couldn't do. There's no point doing it on the 3DS because they had no 3D gimmicks to throw in. All it was like say, okay, give us the 2DS and we could just do more games. And I think in the end they really like, launched like 4 or 5 on the 2DS in the end.
That is a series I've slept on, and I have played the first in a remake on the Switch.
Yeah.
Very fun, very
Oh yeah.
fun.
The fact that they're all going on the Switch is an absolute fucking godsend for me personally because my 2DS is in mothballs, kind of way, and it's like,
Yeah,
which is a shame because all my Ace Attorney games are on the 2DS and I want to play them, but also I'm also inclined to want to play them on the channel as well because I want other people to check it out too. So I'm in a kind of a halfway house where want to play the games for myself, but we started Ace Attorney on this channel as well, and I want to play more of it for content purposes. But even then, like they've released one of the Ace Attorney Investigations games with which stars prosecutor Edgeworth instead, and they're absolutely fucking brilliant. And especially like I think there's one actually they're releasing both of them. The second game never made it outside of Japan, so it's been translated for the first time as well. And I'm actually fucking buzzing to play it. I played it before already with a fan translation, but yeah, I want to support this project. I like what they're doing here. It's the first time Capcom's actually been user friendly for a very long time.
until you get hearing about Capcom whenever they got to make Zelda games,
Yeah.
that'll make you mad. That'll make you
Yes.
mad.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But yeah, it's the same as I said. Like it's if someone has a good idea, yeah, it's a good idea. But like, it's best to ignore people who don't have a notion of what they're doing. You don't know that though when your company are run by businessmen and not like experts in the field. They're not gamers.
Yeah.
And it's a catch-22 because like gamers aren't good businessmen and businessmen aren't good gamers. So you have to have a balance in there somewhere.
What told you to go in here?
My own just general instinct for chaos. And like I said, what told me to go in here is because there's literally nothing else around.
Okay.
Like everything else is blocked off. I've already had my fucking sonic shower, so I'm good. I'm cleaned. I'm fully healthy.
Yep.
So, so as you can see
I'd
there,
said nothing.
we're prevented by or we are denied movement by these wooden fucking blocks, as you can see above us.
I had said okay. See, I'm nearly glad we didn't try to power through the last time that we met up with this.
Yes.
That I don't think that was going to be possible.
No, unfortunately not. I learned as I was playing the games, like yeah, we wouldn't have cleared this in time. Like especially as you see the final cut, like and like again, outside of a couple of like trial and like problems overall with like the start of the run, the rest of the run is relatively seamless, you know.
Yeah.
So like yeah, so there is at least guaranteed 3 to 4 hours worth of content left in the game. Again,
God.
we didn't know that at the time, but that's just the way it is.
Shut the fuck. Oh God.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Jesus, that's terrifying.
I found that's a really cool set piece.
Yeah, the stamina as well, because you're just like, well, as you're going through, you're kind of kicking back and enjoying it, and then you
Mm.
see big boss level, thinking like, oh fuck.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a
Look back up.
production line of monsters.
Yeah, like they're not Goombas, they're like tanks.
Yeah, they're the ones that we met on the overworld. You know,
What do we call them again?
I don't think we ever gave them a name. To be fair, we
Oh,
only
wait, wait.
had them once.
I think I called them General Treg.
Trags.
I
Yes, yes, you did. Yes,
oh,
that's right. I remember now.
Jesus Christ, though. Still, though, that's still. Fuck, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, they are big boys. And then here's the fun part: platforming.
Oh,
Because again, anything that's red and staticky is damaging.
oh God.
And they dodge lasers.
Okay, Mission Possible for this.
Yeah, it does. In fairness, you don't take that much damage off. It's like it's just a bit of like heat off the lasers. But the crack here is like it's the same as the rest of the level. You just have to find where the swelling is and burst the pipe, and
Yep.
everything is okay.
Yeah.
So case in point. So we can see one, but it's getting into it is the problem. Platforming, platforming.
And
It's really
obvious,
awkward in this stage.
and obviously, your bullets won't fit the gap through the gaps in the cages to hit the
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. So that's where it gets a bit fucking cumbersome. Now I'm sure we could be really cheeky and lob a grenade over the fence here, but I think that there we go. And yeah, whenever you hear that kind of hell, that's basically your T cells coming back to attack you.
Yeah. I think I do remember seeing these boys were in just before we jumped into the portal.
Yeah, yeah, they were definitely the last ones we saw overworld before we moved into
Yes.
the gamma sites.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Mm. Again, this is one of the you learn very quickly like the nuclear ammo is very crucial for this level, um, which goes without saying it is the most like they're the most powerful weapons here. Like in fairness, you can get away with your conventional ammo, but it's just you're going up against a lot of big bads at one time, and especially with the actual aim on some of the nuclear weapons are better as well. So
Yeah.
you're better off just like basically saving what you can. So if you know you need to bonk something, use a crowbar or use your revolver. Um, Save the nuclear ammo to until you actually genuinely need them.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some lunatic out there who's done a pacifist run of this game.
I say, I say at some point, like you'd have to be hitting a brick wall of some because there are certain things you do have to take down with specific weapons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, like especially I know, like especially what's to come, that'd be impossible, absolutely impossible.
Oh, kind of.
Yeah, I was expecting a battle here because it was like a big arena. I was like,
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't trust this.
this is kind of the bang of beneath the well in the Shadow Temple fields as well.
Mm,
But yeah, that's.
That
I was gonna.
feels like that should have been a boss fight.
yeah,
Yeah,
it felt that's what it felt like, but no, it was just like basically just somewhere to receive poor fuckers.
it kind of puts you in mind of that scene in Jaws where they're just chatting away on the
Mm,
boat at military at night, and you're expecting something to happen, but it just doesn't. But the
yeah.
tension is there. Oh, nice jump.
Boing.
Yes. So now this is a fun part because it was awfully quiet there for a while, lads, wasn't it? We were having nice, happy little time with people, and they weren't attacking us.
Yep, they
Yeah,
were sound.
they were sound. This part it was not sound.
Oh no.
Yep, these fuckers.
Oh no.
So yeah, our tracks came back in pog form.
Oh, well, look on the bright side. Nothing will ever be coming up Millhouse again.
That ain't that the fucking truth.
Actually, go on. What happened at that Millhouse actor? Like, just seen that in the last 2 days. That uh, was the actor cancelled or
No, I think
retired
she's.
or what?
I think
Just retired.
he just retired 5 years.
Yeah,
Just
we
So I'd
we are
say
getting to
this
the
is
stage where some of those actors are actually old. Like,
Oh yeah, sure, sure. Edward Apple died a few years ago.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, but I'd say this could be the start of like we're going to start seeing more of the cast retiring out now. So
Mm.
like will the show end when the first of the cast main cast dies?
I doubt it because like you have people these are voices that people have been able to take quite well as well. So if Dan Castellaneta like packs it in, I'm sure you can find someone who can do a Homer Simpson voice. You know the kind of way.
But
Like
would they like the show has been a zombie for the last 20 years? So would they if God forbid Dan dies or
mm.
Dan retires, would is there enough of an audience to bring back another Homer?
It's really hard to say. Like again, I don't think this like that's not like their choice to make either. Like if Fox wants The Simpsons to continue, it's going to continue. You know,
Yeah,
um, like they are at the whim of the network. Like I think this is where I remember when Rick and Morty got all those like new series commissioned, they went like, ah, shit, they're in trouble
yeah,
because now they've got like not only did they got like the first next season commissioned, but they got multiple seasons commissioned, and that's sometimes worse because like sometimes you could be like so far up your own kind of this like creative like process that like you know what you want to do the next season, but what do you do for 3 seasons after that? Because that's essentially what you're doing. You're writing three in one go.
yeah,
Um, and that was the death knell for Archer as well. Was that like they basically got like a bulk ordering of seasons, and it just lost its way. They did something different. It didn't work. and it took them a good long time to get back to more like actual genuinely the comedy that you kind of know and love from that show. At which point it was cancelled. So like you're kind of you lost your way a little bit. I think Bob's Burgers was similar, but like Bob's Burgers had like the kind of stay execution of being quirky and niche enough that it wasn't necessarily the first thing that people wanted, you
Yeah,
know. And weirdly enough, that's kind of what animation is like is fortunate for, you know. I'm thinking the BoJack Horseman, for instance, where like it was an animation show on Netflix, but so was Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty was the most mainstream of it all, so therefore there's more attention, which also meant that BoJack could get commissioned at the right time for the right amount, and the creator of the show was able to make the show he actually wanted with the thought process he wanted to do as well, you know. So that's sometimes like the joy of being second favorite in a weird
yes,
way.
The middle child.
Yeah, do you know? Actually, it's a really good way of putting it. Because sometimes, like when the new stuff comes out, and you're thinking, no, it's just like a shit version of Rick and Morty or a bad version of fucking BoJack, you know. Whereas, like as I said, you have a middle ground where, like, you know, you have the joy of being like indifferent to whatever was there before, um, and then you have that kind of commentary of like, oh well, that show is much better than show Y is better than show X type of shit.
Mm.
Like I know, certainly from my point of view, I like think BoJack Horseman is one of the best things ever made. Like it is genuinely, like, uh, I think I said this one time on a different show. I was like, I feel as a writer, I feel really, really depressed when I watch BoJack Horseman. Not because of the source material, it's because I know I'll never be able to write anything as good as that. Like it's just like sometimes you look at a show and go, ah, fuck, they've reached it. They've reached perfection. They've reached the best possible fucking solution to this. You know.
whereas
Um.
as a fucking manic depressive, the show makes me manically fucking depressed.
mm, but
Um,
that's the thing. But there is something
oh no,
bittersweet about that as well. That's
oh
the
yeah,
that's what it is. Like, you know,
such a well written show.
brilliant,
Um,
absolutely brilliant. And like the fact that like it is like again, it's a kind of there's a dramatic irony of it in the sense where like a show that has pretty much like the majority of the characters anthropomorphized is one of the most human shows ever made.
yeah,
That's the joy of it. All the comedy is physical, is literal. It's like a visual metaphor here, a gag here. Someone is an owl, so they fly off set. You know that sort of shit. Which means that you leave the actual like the content is the message.
yep. Actually, I'm gonna rewatch that in so long. Um,
Mm,
like I, yeah, I would even think I just want to go back and rewatch. For I remember BoJack's mom's story was really dark. I'd
yeah,
say
the free
the
what was
witch.
the episode called? Free Churros. That episode is a
Oh my god, that was a
hammer
fantastic
blow.
episode.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal episode. It was just Will
Mm,
Arnett monologuing for 20 minutes.
yeah. Absolutely fucking brilliant.
I
In a
just want
weird
to
way, like
say,
to kind of tie
go
this
on.
back into the conversation we were having previously, like the I don't think video games has its BoJack yet, to a certain degree. I think there's ones that have been kind of close, and like different generations have its BoJack, but like I don't think anything has that real kind of like actual like there the apex is here. We haven't actually found the best part yet because I think, and I will qualify this. I think The Last of Us has been misdiagnosed as that, because it had the was able to transition to being a TV series. Whereas my kind of argument would be that I think it's always been a TV series. It just masqueraded as a game first.
Fair,
You
fair.
know, um,
Um, I would say we've had of a like in a generation, we've had
yeah,
apexes. We've had,
hmm
the height of what could be given to you
mm,
in the 90s was your the height of what the 90s had to offer.
yeah,
I'd say it would have been your not your Ocarina of Times necessarily, but not your Ocarina of Times. Your
mm,
Halo was Mass Effect was a series with held with fantastic writing. Um,
yeah,
like there have been same as there hasn't been a peak book written yet. the apex of books hasn't been given because it's a constantly evolving medium. But you can
And you have so
say
many
that
genres as well. Like you don't
yeah,
have like a communal like this is. Well, I don't know. Maybe the Lord of the Rings would probably come close, wouldn't it? In terms of that.
for fantasy, yeah, but
Yeah,
also
for fantasy, yeah.
uh, yeah, but then you'll also have different levels of purists. You have different levels of
Hmm.
X, Y, and Z. Like in terms of storytelling, Last of Us is a really well crafted story.
Hmm.